जय श्री राम। ऋग्वेद में संज्ञान सूक्तम मंडल 10 सूक्त 191. In the Rigveda you have what is called the Sanjnana Suktam in Mandala 10, and the number of the sukta is 191. So in this Sanjnana Suktam, the Rishi's name, the Rishi who saw this, because Rishis are mantra drashtas, they are not originators of mantras, they intuit these mantras. The Rishi's name is Samvanana Angirasa. Samvanana Angirasa, Sanjnana Suktam. And Devata is Sanjnanam. Okay. The main mantra which is very common is Sangachadvam Samvadhadvam Samvomanasi Janadam Deva Bhagam Yadha Purve Sanjanana Upasate. Okay. Of course, there are other mantras, but we are focusing only on this mantra. This mantra, our Prime Minister Modi ji also on several occasions, even in international fora, he uttered this mantra because this mantra has such a great, profound meaning and deep import. So we must all, in fact in school this must be taught. Sangachadvam Samvaddadvam Samvomanasi Janatam Devabhagam Yadha Purve Sanjanana Upasate. Now, the Hindi Anuvad I am going to read out. This is the Hindi Anuvad by Dr. Lambodar Mishra, Vedic Sukta Muktavali. It's a lovely book. The Hindi Anuvad I am going to read out, and let us see if we can translate it into understandable English. Remember, many Sanskrit words are untranslatable. And there are of course some English words which can be used as equivalents, but they don't really capture the full meaning of that phrase. Okay. So, for example, dharma has no equivalent in English. Punyam, there is no word in English. They call punyam righteous deeds, meritorious deeds. These phrases are so vague, nondescript, fuzzy, unclear. So, unfortunately, the truth is these rascals, these desert cults, they have no concept of dharma. They have this silly idea called sin, which is an act of disobedience of God's command. But papam is not sin. Unfortunately, we use this word sin as if it's an equivalent of papam. Papam is actually negative or bad karma, which will backfire, which will boomerang, which will blow back. B-L-O-W-B-A-C-K, blow back. That means powerful, strong, final indirect repercussions cannot be avoided. So that is papam. Whereas sin is a silly idea of disobeying God's command. And what was the command? Don't eat that fruit of the tree of knowledge, which is itself a strange command. In fact, Hinduism will teach you that even if God gives you a command which is irrational, you should violate it. Because in Hinduism, God is our eternal companion. He did not create us. The logic is very simple. If God had created us, we would be perfect like Him, because God, a perfect God, cannot create anything imperfect. Simple logic. So God has also not created this Prakriti, nature, because had God created nature, then nature should be perfect, but it is not. So if it is not, then God has not created it. Yes, God has complete control over Jivatmas and Prakriti. So the Vedas very clearly declare Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidya Anadi Ubhavapi. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidya Anadi Ubhavapi. Vikaranscha Gunanscha Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. Listen very carefully. 13th chapter, 19th shloka. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidya Anadi Ubhavapi. That is Prakriti and Purusha, that is every Jivatma and nature, is eternal, coeval, eternal. Krishna is declaring the most important central, one of the most central tenets of Sanatana Dharma, which is sound, very soundly rational, unlike the irrational nonsense of other religions. Okay, I already gave you the reasoning. The perfect God cannot create an imperfect world or an imperfect soul. Now the word soul again has a problem, because this word soul has a Christian, it's a Christian concept, because they believe, the Bible and the Quran are very clear, that only humans have a soul and animals and plants don't have. Forget inanimate objects. Whereas quantum mechanics tells you that even subatomic particles, that means consciousness is the ultimate reality. Please look up the double slit experiment. Double slit experiment concludes that electrons seem to be aware that they are under observation. Therefore, the quantum mechanics and classical physics, you see, they are so incompatible, but both govern our lives. In fact, all technology will fall into one of these groups, I mean, driven by the revelations or discoveries in either quantum mechanics or classical physics. So, what is the double slit experimenting concluding? Consciousness is the ultimate reality. That means the electrons seem to be aware that they are under observation. So, that is what Hinduism says. So, consciousness. Now Hinduism says something very simple. Please listen very carefully, because you have to have this clarity. And of course, in Islam and Christianity, they denied, in Christianity mainly, I am not sure about this about Islam. Christianity originally denied a soul to black people, that is the Africans, yeah, and also women. And several debates were held. No, blacks don't have because they are slaves and all that. Hamitic curse, Hamitic, Ham, was cursed by, I think, Noah. So they became slaves. So slaves don't have a soul. So that was a kind of justification to establish the institution of slavery. So slavery has been institutionalized both by Christianity and Islam. Institution means a custom, acharam. Institutionalized means to establish something as a custom. Slavery has been institutionalized by both Christianity and Islam, right? Kaniz is the Arabic word. So slaves, even today in the Middle East, there are people who own slaves, but of course the media will not tell us, nor will they allow this information to leak out. So slavery is established. Whereas we don't have the word, we don't have the concept of slavery in Sanatana Dharma. Because Sanatana Dharma is telling you, Vedas and Bhagavad Gita is telling you that every Jivatma is potentially divine. Every Jivatma was and is the eternal companion of Brahman, Krishna, Rama, God. So, in fact, God is very sort of, what is the right word to use? God is feeling forlorn, Forlorn. Forlorn means abandoned, like a lover, lovelorn, Lovelorn. Lovelorn, forlorn. If a lover has been ditched by the beloved, then the lover becomes lovelorn. That means pining in love, sad and languishing. Languishing means, becoming weak because of pain and suffering and mental trauma. So God is actually lovelorn and feeling forlorn, Forlorn, which means abandoned, because we have left him. That is why the parable of the two birds occurs in all the Vedas. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samanam vruksham parishasvajati tayoranyah pipalam swadvati anashnananyo abhichakashithi. That is, two birds are there on the tree. That tree means the body, and Krishna is the bird sitting right on top in your heart, not the anatomical heart. So, and you and I are hopping, enjoying different things and suffering also because of our prarabdham, and Krishna is hoping that someday you join him back. So Krishna is our true friend, and he is feeling bad that we have abandoned him. This is Sanatana Dharma. Okay, so there is no caste. Caste is a word that is alien to Vedas and Bhagavad Gita. These rascals have imposed this word to such an extent that today we use the word caste as if it is a part of Hinduism. In Hinduism, we have Jati, Kula, Varna and Gotra. Jati, Kula, Varna, Gotra, all of them are scientific, and eugenics, the science of selective breeding to improve the quality of race. Our marriage system is based on eugenics. Theirs is based on dysgenics, Dysgenics. Dysgenics means bad breeding. That's why they marry their first cousins and the products are mentally retarded or suffering from all kinds of dangerous diseases because recessive genes get together. So their system is fundamentally unscientific, ours is clearly scientific. It is essential for me to elaborate on all these things because I hope youngsters, not many will listen to this, they would like to watch trash on YouTube, but I hope some people will listen. And my credo to reboot Hinduism, that is my telos, Telos. Telos means goal, objective. Teleology is the study of purpose. Why does anything exist? So teleologically I consider myself as a person who has the objective of rebooting Hinduism. That's what I am trying to do. So God did not create us. The logic is, if God had created us, we should be perfect. And God did not create us even in His image. That's what they say in Christianity. God created us in His image, Abrahamic religions. Now, if that is also to be accepted again, if God had created us in His image, then again we should be perfect, because His image would be perfect. And how can a formless God have an image is another question, isn't it? What do you mean by having an image? Are you are saying that God is formless and you are iconoclastic, breaking idols. Iconoclasm means breaking idols. Iconoclasm also means attacking tradition. So Abrahamic cults are fundamentally iconoclastic. Their iconoclastic fury has been seen throughout world history. They have destroyed temples everywhere, breaking idols, simply because their dogma is God cannot have you cannot create an idol for God because He is formless. So now ask them, if your God is formless, what do you mean by saying He created man in His image? That means God's image must be like man, which means He has an image. That means He has no form. So please decide whether He is formless or has a form. Morphologically, God is similar to human. That's what you are trying to tell us. Anyway, so their entire religion is so full of flaws, FLAWS. They need to do mental flaws, spiritual flaws, FLOSS. Flaws means cleaning. Flaws, to do mental flaws means cleaning the mind. Dental floss is cleaning and throwing out all the junk. Anyway, so I think I am entitled to say this much. Prakrutim Purusham Chaiva, 13th chapter, 19th shloka. Please make a note. 13-19. Prakrutim Purusham Chaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaranscha Gunanscha Vidhi Prakruti Sambhavan. Prakriti and Purusha know that both these are beginningless, and also understand that all modifications, that is your likes and dislikes, and all these are because, and all objects are actually a creation of the three gunas born of Prakriti. Your mind, your body is created by three gunas. Prakriti has these three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. So even our mind is a product of Prakriti. That is, and the mind is characterized by three gunas. If you enhance sattva guna, then you will be more spiritual. But the mind can slide into rajo guna and tamo guna. Of course, all three there must be a balance, but a preponderance of sattva guna is essential for moksha. So we are jivatmas. That means actually the atma is not touched by gunas. The atma is beyond the gunas. So fundamentally we are trigunatitas. We are beyond the gunas, but the moment we identify ourselves with the mind, we get so enmeshed and embroiled in the gunas that we forget our essential nature, which is being a trigunatita. So 13-19 is the thunderbolt you can land on the head of any fellow who comes to the discussion table about religion. That, and if he says that God created us and in His image and all that, then you can completely destroy that argument. Again I am repeating so that you remember, God did not create us, because if He had created us, then we should be perfect. God did not create us in His image, because if He did, again that image would be perfect and we should be perfect, but we are not. And if God has an image, that means He has no form. A formless God cannot have an image. So again the reasoning is flawed. And nature also God did not create, because if God had created it, then nature should have been perfect, but nature is not perfect. It is riddled with the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. So Hinduism teaches you that God has perfect control over these two, that is the Jivatmas and the Prakriti, but He did not create them. The Western world has this obsession to know know what caused something. We don't have such a problem. We are content and satisfied with the assumption that some things are beginningless. We do not know what caused them. Causeless, the God is the causeless cause of many things, and Jivatma is also causeless, and nature is also, Prakriti is causeless. These are the three verities of life. That is the slokam. Okay. So now let us get back to the Sanjnana Suktam, and this is the second mantra in the Sanjnana Suktam. Sangachhadvam samvardhadvam samvomanasi janatam devabhagam yadha purve sanjanana upasate. The Hindi anuvad is, हे स्तुति करने वालों, Rishi is addressing, in fact God, it is God's voice, Brahman, Krishna, Rama, तुम एकत्रित होकर चलो एवं समान रूप से बोलो, अर्थात परस्पर विरोध का परित्याग करके एक ही प्रकार का वाक्य उच्चारण करो। तुम्हारे मन समान रूप से पदार्थ को समझें। तुम्हारे मन समान रूप से पदार्थ को समझें। जैसे पुरातन देवगण एक मत होकर हविस का भाग ग्रहण करते हैं, वैसे तुम लोग भी समान मति से होकर धनादि को ग्रहण करो। सो इक्वालिटी, democracy, secularism, all these concepts in the seed form are already there in the Vedas. This is the Sanjnana Suktam in the Rig Veda. Then the third mantra in the Sanjnana Suktam is Samano mantra samitih samani samanam manah sahachittamesham samanam mantram abhimantrayevaha samanena vo havisha juhomi. The Hindi अनुवाद, translation. इन स्तोताओं का स्तोत्र या गुप्त भाषण एक समान हो, एक समान हो, प्राप्ति भी एक जैसी हो, इनके ज्ञान मन भी एक जैसा हो, चित्त भी एक जैसा हो। इन स्तोताओं का स्तोत्र या गुप्त भाषण एक समान हो, प्राप्ति भी एक जैसी हो, ज्ञान मन भी एक जैसा हो, चित्त भी एक जैसा हो। हे पुरोहितों, मैं तुम सबको समान मंत्र से अभिमंत्रित करता हूँ और आपको समान रूप से हविष्यान्न को प्रदान करता हूँ। See the cycle of exchange. In nature, nothing is free. Nalla mensa, sine impensa. Make a note. It's a Latin quote. Very nice one. You can write it on your T-shirt. Nulla, nalla, mensa. Nalla mensa, sine impensa. SINE, IMPENSA. Sine impensa. The meaning is there is no such thing as free lunch. यहाँ पुकट में कुछ नहीं मिलता. So this is the first rule in nature. Of course, only with God the transaction need not be commercial. There is no exchange. You don't have to. But in everything else there is an exchange. All human interactions are also like that. So there has to be something given for something to be taken. Nothing is free. And if something is taken free, the cost will be very heavy. Always despise the free lunch. Always pray to God, pray to Krishna that you should be the giver, not the receiver. And in the Sanjnana Suktam, the fourth mantra is like this. Samaniva akutihi samana hrudayanivaha samanamastu vo mano yadha vah susahasati. हिंदी अनुवाद. हे यजमानों और पुरोहितों, तुम्हारा संकल्प समान हो, तुम्हारे हृदय और अंतःकरण भी समान हो, तुम्हारा सुंदर ढंग से एकत्रित होना समान होता है, अर्थात तुम सुसंगठित हो जाओ. So this is called the Sanjnana Suktam. Of course, Sanjnana Suktam has 4 mantras. I didn't read the first one. Let us read the first one also. So there are 4 mantras in the Sanjnana Suktam. The first one I'll try to read one now, which should have been read first, but I made a mistake. It's all right. So the first mantra of the Sanjnana Suktam. Samsamidhuvase vrushan nagne vishwanyarya a ila spade samidhyase sano vasunya bhara. Okay, so the first mantra was very difficult. Samasam it yuvase vrushan padapata. The Agni Vishwani Arya A Ila Pade Sama Idhyase Sah Na Vasuni A Bhara. Now let's look at the Hindi Anuvad. So the Sanjnana Suktam, the second, third and fourth are very important for us. So that's the reason I did not read the first one, but anyway let's complete it. Now Hindi Anuvad of the first Suktam is He कामनाओं के वर्षा करने वाले अग्नि. Agni is the Pratyaksha Daivam. Agni is the Swarup of Brahman. Agni, Krishna is Agni. Krishna said that also. Pavanah Pavakaschasmi. So Pavanah Pavakaschasmi is in the 10th chapter, 31st sloka. That is, among purifiers I am the wind. Pavanah Pavakaschasmi Rama Shastra Bhrutamaham Jhashanam Makaraschasmi Srotasamasmi Jahnavi. I am Ganga. Krishna is Ganga, Krishna is Rama, Krishna is the wind. Krishna is the Agni. That is 10th chapter 23rd. Rudranam Shankaraschasmi 10:23. I am Shiva. Krishna is declaring I am Shiva. Rudranam Shankaraschasmi Vittesho Yaksha Rakshasam. I am Kubera. Vasunam Pavakaschasmi. Please make a note. 10:23. Vasunam Pavakaschasmi. Among the Vasus, I am Agni. So Krishna is Agni. Get this clear. So when you see Agni, that is Krishna. You can see Krishna everywhere. Krishna is wind. Krishna is everything. Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Meru Shikharinamaham. So the Hindi Anuvad of the first mantra of the Sanjnana Suktam, He कामनाओं के वर्षा करने वाले अग्नि. So Krishna is Agni, Krishna is the Kalpataru, Krishna is the Kamadhenu. So worship Krishna if you want wealth also, because Krishna declares in the Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukrutinor artho jignasur artharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. 4 types of good people, spiritually evolved people, pray to me. Artho, one who is distressed. Jignasu, one who wants to acquire knowledge, one who wants to know. Jignasur Artharthi, one who wants money, wealth. Jnani, and one who is already knowledgeable. So these are the 4 good people who worship me. And Krishna therefore is indirectly telling you, if you want money, worship me. Don't waste your time worshipping anybody else. So what more can you expect? Directly the commands are there, but still people are wasting their time going to various places. So हे कामनाओं के वर्षा करने वाले अग्नि, तुम ईश्वर हो, तुम समस्त प्राणियों को मिलाते हो, अर्थात देवताओं में केवल तुम ही वैश्वानर रूप से समस्त प्राणियों को व्याप्त करते हो, और तुम ही पृथ्वी के स्थान पर अर्थात यज्ञवेदी पर प्रदीप्त होते हो. ऐसे ही तुम हम लोगों को धन से प्रपूरित करो. हम लोगों को धन से प्रपूरित करो. Let me try reading it again. This one is slightly difficult. The first one. Samsamithuvase vrushan agne Vaishwanaryaya a ilaspade samithyase Sano Vasunyabhara. Sano Vasunyabhara. Okay. Tippani, of course, in the Tippani, so much has been written. So this is the problem. You see, Vedic Sanskrit is so difficult. And after independence, we had many foolish leaders who had no respect for Sanatana Dharma. They were hell bent on destroying Sanatana Dharma, and they have made sure that we forget our Deva Bhasha, Sanskrit. Sanskrit should be taught in school. In all Islamic countries, they teach their kids Arabic. And you see, every country they are doing it except in India. Our own people are hell bent on destroying Sanatana Dharma. At least now, once Modi ji comes to power for the third time, Bhagavad Gita should be made the national book, and people like me will be getting a chance to teach the Bhagavad Gita in schools. So once Bhagavad Gita is taught in schools and all children, all youth are inspired by Sri Krishna, then we can establish Rama Rajyam. Jai Shri Ram.